If you're feeling down, still feeling down about Trump, or maybe something else in your life that's not gone too well, maybe one of those films we've just said could be the one to cheer you up. Maybe it's The Accountant. Doesn't sound like it would really, though, does it? From the title alone, doesn't sound like that kind of cheery, feel-good film. Because it isn't. It really isn't.
Can you think of a more bland title ever?
No, I can't.
Watching paint dry.
Should we hear a bland clip?
Let's do it.
Here it is. This is The Accountant.
How did you get into financial consulting?
Department of Labor statistics indicate it's one of the fastest growing professions. Actuarial sciences are experiencing tremendous growth as well.
Okay. I like the balance of it. You know, I like finding things that aren't obvious. Plus, my dad was an accountant. He actually, you know, he had the whole shtick. The, you know, the little amortization book and the green eye shade, and the, like, dorky pocket protector, and...
I have a pocket protector.
That's a nice one. I mean, his was dorky. Yours is nice. But he convinced me to go into the field, because I wanted to study art at the Art Institute of Chicago, but art doesn't pay the mortgage. Art doesn't pay the mortgage, young lady. Dad's tastes ran more to dogs playing poker.
I like dogs playing poker. Because dogs would never bet on things, and so it's incongruous. I like incongruity.
Ben Affleck and Anna Kendrick in The Accountant. Sounds fascinating, doesn't it?
Sounds wonderful.
Really fascinating. So I saw this a few weeks ago in an early screening. These guys haven't had a chance to catch up.
Sadly not.
So it was amazing, doesn't it? Directed by Gavin O'Connor, who brought us Warrior several years ago, and recently Jane Got a Gun, which we didn't get a chance to see, but it didn't really come out here. It flopped quite badly from what I gather. So, story is, Ben Affleck plays Christian Wolfe. He is the accountant. He is the accountant of the film. He has Asperger's syndrome. He spent a lot of his childhood with his father, who was in the military, and he was trying to make his son stand up to bullies more and fight back and not just take it because, you know, that's what he should do. That's how he should react around bullies.
Teaching him to stand his ground. Stand
your ground and fight. So it's got to this point where he is now this
God's sake, man.
kick-ass accountant who is awkward with people, and he can uncook books. He's very good at maths. He's very good at all stuff, but he's also good at killing people. Great balance. This is some way to sell a film, isn't it? So what you have then is his interaction with Anna Kendrick. She works at this firm that he's been brought in to cook some books for, basically. And then what happens in that is he gets tangled in this whole big story of people trying to fight each other. You got John Bernthal at the centre of it all. He is the sort of head of this mob thing. And saying more than that would spoil a lot of it. But really, at the same time, it's also very confusing and hard to get your head around. The reaction when I saw it was a lot of people didn't really understand what was going on. And I think that is fair because it is incoherent at best. The pace and the structure of the film make it impossible to latch into it at all. It makes it very hard to connect and stay connected with it. It's very good at kicking you out when you get bored, and it's very hard to get back into it. You've also got J.K. Simmons. He plays this sort of police chief.
I've heard he's quite of an exposition machine.
Oh, massively. Oh, massively indeed. He's a sort of police chief. He wants to retire. He's 2 days from retirement, blah, blah, blah. There's this
2 days.
Police detective, or she's below a detective. She's kind of one of the caseworkers or something. She is brought into his office. He basically has lots of information on her that if got out, she would be put in federal prison or something. So she is entrusted with this case to try and find out who the accountant is, because he's popped up everywhere. He's been doing books for everybody, and before he retires he wants to find out who it is so he's got peace of mind, but also it turns out it's connected to his life. Blah 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 blah. So there's a lot of exposition there.
What a way going, you think?
He goes away. His character is missing for about an hour of the film, and then just suddenly pops back in as if he's been away, as if he's gone on holiday.
Comes back with a ton.
Yeah. It's like, okay, JK, we've done your bit now. We'll call you back for the reshoots in a few months. So he could have been to Barbados and back in that time. Barbados. Sorry about that. So, I mean, the heartfelt stuff between Ben Affleck and Anna Kendrick works best. The action stuff is at least shot well. It's quite punchy and quite grisly. It's a 15. It at least matches up to that kind of high standard of action that we've got these days. Anna Kendrick does the whole do-I dorky girl quite well. I think that's her sort of thing, isn't it? She does the sort of dorky kind of, oh, look at me, I'm Anna Kendrick.
Yep.
And that's sort of what she does. Affleck, perfect for this role I've got written down. I mean, that was a few weeks ago. It's a very sleepwalky kind of role. It doesn't take a lot of acting as such. He gets to shoot people.
Cool.
He gets to be awkward.
Is his chin good?
Is the what?
Chin.
His chin's perfect. His
Nice.
chin's the best thing about him always. And of course the Boston accent.
Both.
But really, there's just too much going on. I mean, even the way I've described it, you can tell there's too many plots going on at the same time. It's a 2-hour film and there's lots and lots packed in. It only really settles down towards the end. And even then it's sort of like, didn't really build much. And I mean, the twist. I mean, I say twist. It's like a big train coming at you, like twist, twist. You see it from miles away.
Yeah.
And even if you don't, you don't really care. You won't really bother about trying to guess the twist because it's not that engaging or involving. I didn't like it. I thought it was boring. I mean, is it an action film? Is it a drama film? Is it quite offensive to people with Asperger's syndrome? I could see why people might not like the way it's dealt with. I think it's handled in a pretty shoddy fashion when I look at it. I think it often shows the humility required when dealing with somebody with autism. You know, the sort of way you act around them, as if they're, you know, different species. Sometimes it's treated like that. But I found it lacking. I'd be curious to see what people who have Asperger's or autism do think about the way it's portrayed. As somebody who doesn't have this, I thought it was
a bit
tacked on and a bit tactless. But anyway, that's The Accountant. I wouldn't recommend it.
Right. I had no interest in seeing the film, to be honest. The
trailer's good. The trailer's good and punchy. It's got that Radiohead song.
Good as Radiohead. And it was interesting, but I don't know, I just kind of saw the trailer once, thought, look, I might
The
give
trailer
it a
was great with Lisa Radiohead.
But yeah, just didn't really appeal.
The film doesn't have that pace. The film does not have the same punchy pace that trailer. If you've seen that trailer and thought that looks good, you've been missold, unfortunately. That's The Accountant.